On today's show,
let's meet our new principal.
Memories of our chamber group in Boston Symphony Hall.
Some of our students are standing up to cancer. All this and so much more.
Good morning, Staples. Good morning, Staples. It is Thursday, March 31st, the last day of March, with April vacation beginning to peek over the horizon. I'm Abby.
And I'm Lexi. We have another great show for you today, and our show will begin as soon as we all stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Up first is Matt with his weather report for the rest of this week.
Good morning, Staples. I'm Matthew Elliott here with the weather. Today it'll be 65 and be pretty warm. Tomorrow it's going to rain all day. Saturday it'll be 58, and Sunday it'll plummet down to 45. Have a great weekend. Now back to the hosts.
To begin our show today, we would like to give you a chance to meet with the new principal of Staples High School.
We have with us today Mr. James D'Amico. He will assume the principalship of Staples High School on July 1st. Here's our interview with him.
Good morning, Staples. I'm here with Mr. D'Amico, our new principal for the 2016 to 2017 school year. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
So, what made you decide to apply for the job as principal?
Sure. Well, obviously, as many students may or may not know, I've worked in Westport for 15 years. So Staples, the Staples principalship is a great job. It's one of those jobs that I think anybody in education would want to have. For me personally, I've spent the last year and a half or so in a central office position as the director of secondary education, which I like. I love the work. I've gotten to know, not only teachers and parents at Staples really well, but at the two middle schools. But ultimately, for me, I'm still a teacher at heart, and I wanted to be back in a building and working with students. And Staples, since 2001, has always been my second home, and I wanted to go back.
So, you were the head of the social studies department our freshman year, the senior-sophomore year. So, how do you think knowing kids and coming from within the school will help you next year?
I think in my present job, I get to work with not only people in Westport, but people in a lot of different communities, mostly in the tri-state area. And one thing I have a greater appreciation for now is how unique Staples really is. And so I think as somebody that's been a teacher and a department chair and a district administrator here, I know about a lot of those uniquely Staples things. I know the community pretty well because, as we know, Staples and Westport can be a challenging community. It could be a competitive community, and it has its own personality. So I think understanding many of the aspects of that unique personality will help me as the principal.
Okay, so a lot of times we're in an election season, and a lot of times the presidential candidates talk about what they want to do in their first 100 days in office. So, in order to make your impact right away, what do you want to do in your first year here?
Okay. So, as a former social studies teacher, that'll be the angle I answer your question with, which is, I think, what we all know about presidents who make those promises about all this stuff they're going to change in the first 100 days, it almost never happens. So I think my first job is really to come in and listen. Even though I'm a part of the school community already, it'll be my first time as principal. So I think it's really important to me that when I start as principal, to listen to students, to listen to teachers, to listen to parents about what do they think could be better about Staples, because it's a great place, but what are some of those things that we need to improve upon? That doesn't mean I don't have any idea about what I'd like to do. One of the things that I would really like to do as principal and really move forward on is really working on that part of Staples where we make better connections with each other, where students make better connections to teachers, to other students, teachers make better connections to teachers, to really build that community. And I think there are a lot of different ways you can do that, but I'm not going to pretend that I have all the answers with how you do that.
Okay, so now it's that time in the interview where we play some fun, stupid games.
Okay.
So these are rapid-fire questions. Answer, I would say probably 5 words or less is a good range.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, so favorite food?
Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday, that's
Yeah.
a good one. Favorite color?
Yukon Blue.
Come Blue, are you a fan of the Huskies?
I am. I'm an alumni and a big fan of the Huskies.
So were you upset when they were eliminated?
I wasn't upset when the men were eliminated. They had a great season.
Okay.
And the women are still going,
Yeah,
as of this interview.
Disagree with you. Okay. Where's your favorite place to travel?
Favorite place to travel? Probably Mexico. Love the beach in Mexico.
Favorite movie?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I would have to say it's a tie. I'm a war movie guy. I love Patton. If you've never seen Patton, it's a great one. George C. Scott, and Saving Private Ryan.
Any TV shows you like?
A lot of TV shows I like. Right now, Game of Thrones is at the top of my list.
It's on everyone's list.
Homeland
really,
is a big one on my list. And then I have no idea why, but I enjoy Fresh Off the Boat. No idea why. It was just on one night and I started watching it.
All right, thank you, Mr. D'Amico, for coming. We look forward to having many interviews with you over the next years.
Absolutely.
So, this is our new principal, Mr. D'Amico, everyone. Now let's send it back to the hosts.
Thank you, Mr. D'Amico, for allowing us to interview you. We want to welcome you and tell you that we are happy to have you back at Staples, a school you already know very well.
Recently, the Staples Chamber Orchestra was invited to Boston Symphony Hall to hear a concert, get some instruction from a member of the Boston Symphony, and perform in that historic hall. Mr. Honeycutt and the music department put together a slideshow to serve as a memory of that day.
Becoming a musician is a lifelong journey. It starts with learning basic skills such as reading music, playing with passion, and finally becoming part of an ensemble that moves the audience. That's the aim of the music program in the Westport schools. And one of the ways to enhance those lessons is to expose young musicians to the best music in the world in a way that makes the experience meaningful and inspiring. The Staples Chamber Orchestra traveled to Boston in March of 2016 on just such a mission, to hear the Boston Symphony Orchestra play in concert. But that wasn't all.
We've been playing together for quite a while. It's kind of like a family with a common goal. But this trip to Boston was more than a field trip. We're going to see the big league. And I don't mean the Red Sox.
In the East, Lincoln Center in New York, the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., and Symphony Hall in Boston are the big three performance spaces for orchestral music. To hear music played on those stages is the pinnacle for any music lover. The sound is amazing, but the feeling of being there, where so many great musicians have shared their music, is almost too much to take in.
The Boston Symphony sound is breathtaking. The richness and fullness of their playing only enhances their passion and precision. When music is played that well in a space with Symphony Hall's acoustics, you're carried away like never before. We were all breathless and couldn't stop smiling.
When we finished our masterclass with the BSO's bassist, we had the experience of any student musician's lifetime. We actually performed on stage in Symphony Hall.
My goals as a music educator are simple. Teach musical skills, instill a love and respect for the material, and plant a seed in every young musician that will mature and grow into a lifetime love of the arts. Together, my students and I do that work in rehearsal and performance. But the true test of whether the seed has taken root happens outside those venues. It happens inside each student, and when it does, you can see it. That was the goal of our trip to Boston. It happened for each of them. I saw it, and as a teacher, it was extraordinary. The few moments we shared on the stage at Symphony Hall were proof positive that those tiny seeds have taken root, and the Staples Chamber Orchestra, each precious one of them, are destined to become music lovers for life. I'm confident that this group will evolve into the very kind of musical ambassadors I hope to create. I know they'll remember the Symphony Hall experience forever. And I should add, so will I.
It must have been very exciting to spend the day in such a historic setting with such a famous group of professional musicians. We hope the members of Chamber enjoyed this as much as we all did.
Up next is Gavin with a piece about some students who are standing up to cancer.
Hey Staples, looking for a fun activity to do tomorrow night? Come on down to Tokay Hall at 7 o'clock. Stand Up to Cancer is having their annual music event. This year it's going to be a battle of the bands, featuring such bands as Pizza Dust. Come on down, it's going to be a blast. 7 o'clock, $12 tickets at the door. It's going to be really fun. All the proceeds go to support cancer. Hope to see you all there. Now let's throw it back to the host.
Thank you, Gavin, for that piece.
Gavin was also interested in knowing more about Staples alum Allison Porter and how she is progressing on The Voice. Here is his report.
Hey Staples, Allison Porter made another appearance on The Voice this past week. Let's take a look.
I'd be safe and warm if I was in LA. California dreaming on such a winter's day. Jumped into a church I passed along the way. Well, I got down on my knees and pretended to pray. You know the preacher likes the cold. He knows I'm gonna stay. California dreaming on such a winter's day. All the leaves are brown and the sky is gray. I went for a walk on a winter's day. If I didn't tell her I could leave today. California dreaming on such a winter's day. California dreaming on such a winter's day. California dreaming on such a winter's day.
That is a battle from Team Christina. Give it up for Lacey and Allison. All right, Christina, tough decision, but who is the winner of this battle?
I'm really moved by both of you. And I just do have to commend you, Lacey. You're a strong girl, you have a strong voice, but the winner of this battle is Allison.
Allison, congratulations. We're going to move on to the knockouts and represent Team Christina.
Allison's natural ability and her vocal range is incredible.
My love! I'm obsessed with you. I'm so honored to be on your team.
She's undefeatable in my eyes, but we'll see what the competition brings.
Great job, Allison. Staples is really rooting for you. We'll keep you guys updated with more of her appearances as they keep coming up. Now back to the host.
While Allison continues to be successful on The Voice, let's hope she can continue to succeed. We will try to follow her in the upcoming weeks ahead.
Last Saturday, the Media Lab and WWPT had its annual fundraiser. WWPT disc jockeys were on the air all day long, taking requests and asking for donations. It was a successful fundraiser. One thing that made the day very special were the two bands that performed live in the Media Lab. Both bands had ties to Staples. Up next is a piece to tell you more about the music that day.
Good morning, Staples. We decided to learn more about the WWPT fundraiser that you learned about in yesterday's show. We sat down with Ethan Shenhar, a member of one of the bands, to ask him about it. Here's what we asked. How did you start with music?
Started out, like most people, I think, at the school, playing rock, things like that. After a while, though, you sort of get into different kinds of music. And in 7th grade, I auditioned for the jazz band at Bedford Middle School. And, after that, I started getting much more into jazz. So ever since really I've just sort of been playing mostly jazz. Rock has sort of been, kind of like a side thing for me.
How did the fundraiser go?
The fundraiser was great. We raised over $4,000, which we've never done before. I think the previous record was, I want to say, $3,200, I think. So yeah, it was definitely really successful. We got a lot of donations from around Connecticut and into New York too. So it was pretty cool just to see, people are listening and people care.
We then talked to Mr. Forget, who is another member in the fundraiser. We understand that you were filling in for another member of the band. How did this happen?
Well, the band I was a member of at one point in time. Fun story with this band is they were great. I saw them perform after the Connecticut Music Awards. I really liked them, and they lost 2 guitar players, and I joined in for a couple of years just to, fill in the space until they found someone. They found someone. I left because I was having a baby, and then one of them moved. So when they had a gig out, they asked me to fill in. So
What influenced you to play the guitar?
The earliest memory I have of wanting to play guitar was I think I was in 7th grade, and I saw a picture of like some guy in midair with like a guitar, and he was about to hit it, and I was like, that looks cool. I want that.
How did you like performing with the band?
They're hilarious. Like the lead singer, the bassist and the front man, he's absolutely hilarious. Like they're amazing people to be around, and I laugh my head off every time I'm around them. So I really enjoy it.
Thanks to both of you. Now back to the host. The fundraiser was a big success, but making the day very special were the 2 bands, Black Tie Affair and Forgotten by Friday, who performed that day.
It is now time for sports.
Hi, my name is Gus McGee, and welcome to the sports segment of our show. We have a few sports pieces for you today. Up first is an update on our spring volleyball program.
Hey Staples, we're here with 2 senior volleyball players this year, Kieran Simanovic.
What's good?
And Jared Himmel. What's up, guys?
What's up? What's up, man?
Cool. We're gonna ask you a couple questions about the upcoming season. Sound good?
Yeah, sure.
All right, so what are some big games coming up this season?
Well, our first 4 games are actually away. We have a Richfield game April 8th away at Richfield. That'd be great if we
It's gonna be nuts.
There.
You gotta come.
It's gonna be a good game.
It's gonna be nuts.
It's gonna be nuts.
Who's some big contributors looking forward to perform this year?
Well, absolutely. It's gonna be my boy Jared Himmel. He's a great player, a great leader.
He's a real key piece this year,
yeah,
right?
Of course, you could say that again. We got my boy Daniel Brill coming up, saved my life. You already know what it is. I mean, I'm not going to try and be cocky, but I think I'm going to help the team out along with my boy John Finch.
Word.
Put it in on the middle side. We got some great players in Angerthal, Jackson Livingstone, Quinny Hughes, Andrew Van Rips, baby. You already know what it is.
We got a good junior setter, Kenny Brill.
God, Kenny Brill is
Butterhands.
Sydney Malcolm.
All right, guys. So how'd you guys do last season?
It was a questionable season. I mean, we had more hopes, and we didn't really fulfill what we expected. And we kind of ended in the state bracket early, and same with FCX. So this year we're coming out hot, ready to make a difference in the FCX.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Last question. How do you expect to do this season?
You already know. Lights out. We're gonna get that
championship or bust?
Get that CX.
State championship or bust?
We run the show.
We're going for gold this year.
Best in show. You already know what it is.
You heard it here first, Staples. The Staples volleyball team this year is going for gold, championship or bust. Come out to the games this season, see these 2 studs play and spike some balls, all right?
And 1.
See you later. Now back to the host.
24-16. Off the block, and now it's over. 24-16, 25-16, the final score in set number 3.
Up next is Mr. Klein and students with their NCAA tournament competition. Last week, Mr. Klein was losing and the students had an edge on him. Let's see if the students could hold on.
Smart takes the shot. Puts it up. Dreams to come true. As good as it gets. Here, haircut. Clemente fires!
Final Four, baby. Welcome back to the Klein March Madness Championship Show. Last week, the students were up 8-6 over Mr. Klein for their respected Sweet 16 picks. Today, we look at how the students fared in the Final Four. Mr. Klein scored 2 points for getting the UNC game right, but Jack Beck yielded Staples back by selecting Heald Image Sooners, making the score 10-8. Today, we will have one Staples student come down against the wire against Mr. Klein. And don't worry, Staples, we got the best possible person to represent our students.
Klein, you couldn't even take the rest, but now you're going up against the best. Students be the ones who I'm repping. I'm the teacher this time. You about to learn your lesson.
Our student representative this week will be rec basketball legend Mo Breezy. Mo, who do we got in the championship game? The students are counting on you.
Legend, I'm honored. Well, I got Oklahoma taking it all. Buddy Hield is the best player in the nation, and they are going to wipe the floor with North Carolina. So I got Oklahoma taking it all.
Mr. Klein, who do you like for your March Madness champion?
Here we go, the 2016 NCAA tournament champion after a very unpredictable tournament that sees us with two number 2 seeds, a 10 seed, and a 1 seed in the Final Four. My winner, I am going with the North Carolina Tar Heels. As bad as I've been, North Carolina comes through for me. I win this thing. I like the Tar Heels.
That's our show, Staples.
Shoot it back to the host.
Devendorf at the buzzer.
Well, it looks like it was a good, hard-fought competition. It looks like it is going to come down to the finals to see who's going to win it all. Well, that's it for sports this week. I'll throw it back to the host. See you next time.
Thanks, Gus. We hope you have enjoyed our show.
We do have one more announcement. There will be mandatory internship training for seniors on Tuesday, April 5th or Thursday, April 7th during communication time.
The training will take place in the auditorium, and seniors will attend one session only, which will be assigned according to their homeroom.
That's our show, Staples. Period 8 will be back next Wednesday with their show.
Have a great weekend. Good morning, Staples.